What's up? My name is Divested Wife, and I want to talk about the major backlash that Pearl is getting right now from black men. And black men are now attempting to cancel her once she sat on her podcast talking about slavery wasn't a big deal. Black people are making slavery way worse than it actually was. Black people use slavery as a tool to manipulate white people. And also, black people are lazy. All right? This is what Pearl had to say about black folks. And now black men and black women who were mammying for Pearly things just a couple of days ago are now all turning their backs on her when they should have been did that shit long time ago. It's already too late. All of y'all are taking L's. We already told you that this woman does not like you, that she's using you, and you motherfuckers wouldn't listen. So you gonna sit back and take this L. Since it has been exposed that Pearly Things is indeed a white supremacist and a racist, now you got a bunch of black men online crying because they use Pearl and many other white people as a tool in order to combat and fight with black women. Because we all know that you dusty motherfucking nakers and you mammies need white validation to try to make your arguments valid when that shit don't work, okay? Y'all are always sitting up in here seeking white validation, and it's backfired in your fucking face. These dusty ass nakers sat this white woman up to be the leader of the black manosphere simply because she got white skin, she fucks black D, and also she talks shit about black women. That was enough for allow this white woman to be in their spaces and to take over. So this is a major L for black men alike, okay? This is a major loss for them, and they look stupid on these motherfucking internet streets. They wanted to sit on Pearl's podcast and decide to ask her about divestors and divestment and all this shit, hoping to get a soundbite. But instead, what you motherfuckers did is open a Pandora's box and made her comfortable to talk about race. The first red flags that should have been alarming to black men is how she was easily able to take Kevin Samuel's manuscript and repeat it and motherfucking add nothing to it and gain all this views and attention. That should have been the first red flags. But of course they ignored it because they like a woman to tell them what they want to hear. That is how stupid a lot of these motherfuckers are. Another red flag that they missed was the fact that they have a unhealthy obsession with the white man's cock. And they don't think anybody online notices this shit. When you sit your black ass on your platform and instead of talking about how to better yourself as black men, you're focusing on divestors and what the white man's cock is doing in your woman, all right? That right there gives the white content creators the green light to talk about race and all kind of shit like that. Because you're sitting on their platforms asking them about divestors, so why can't they talk about race on their platforms? You motherfuckers built this environment in these white people's spaces by running your fucking mouths about divestors instead of staying focused on what the fuck is going on with you, okay? So after she gets done using these black males for their cocks, for their money, and for their resources to get to where she's at, she decided that she didn't need these broke dusties anymore. And so she decides to jump in the arms of this white supremacist, all right? These women want their own men. They want the approval from their own men, not from black males. White women do this more often than you think. Look at Kim Kardashian. She used black males all the way to the top. And then once she was done with them, there she is sitting up in here trying to find herself a white man. So we see this time and time again. When these women want to elevate themselves, they'll use the black man's resources and money, and then when they get to where they at, they kick them aside, and now they want to be in the company of white men. So she sits on her podcast and begins to talk about race, and the funny thing is, it wasn't the white supremacist that brought up race, it was her. All right. So it's clearly something that she wanted to talk about. And she talks about how lazy her black employees are, how they're late all the time. She said that black people are exaggerating slavery, talking about how it wasn't that bad, which I completely disagree. I think being a slave is a horrible thing, no matter what race you are. So that was kind of tone deaf. But I do agree with her on two things. She says that black people will use slavery as a tool to manipulate whites. And I 100% agree with her on this one. Anytime a white person and a black person has a disagreement, the first thing they want to do is bring up slavery because they live in this conquered, defeated state of mind. Nearly every race of men on the planet has been conquered and enslaved one point or another. But the difference between those men and black men is that those men picked themselves up off the ground and still was able to build whole infrastructures and provide a community for their families and for their legacies. Notice how you don't see these other groups of men crying online about their ancestors being enslaved. All right. But you'll hear black men, the first thing they do is want to cry about some damn slavery, and none of these motherfuckers have ever been slaves. So instead of fixing the problems in their own community, they want to blame whitey. They want to blame the white man. They want to blame the white woman. They want to blame all white people instead of looking within and figuring out that, look, you cannot have a defeated, conquered mindset and get shit done. If your mechanisms of coping with your failures is to blame whitey for everything, then you are a conquered and defeated buck. Y'all always want to use slavery to guilt trip white people when most white people can actually go back several generations and their families have never owned slaves. I also agree with her when she says that blacks are lazy and never on time. Okay, the reason why racial stereotypes exist is because there's some elements of the truth in that. And the fact stands that black males have the highest unemployment rates in our country and is causing our economy $50 billion. So that reflects laziness. So, of course, Pearl gets canceled, all right? And here comes the woke mob forcing her to apologize. And to me, I'm like this, what the fuck are you apologizing for exactly? All right? You need to stand 10 toes down as a woman in what you're fucking saying, all right? You don't ever let these motherfuckers force you to apologize. But of course she knows that her core fan base, which are black males, they're the ones who need this fake ass apology in order to feel better and keep these coins rolling in. So after Pearl gives her fake ass apology to these nig cells, they accept her back with open arms, okay? They really handle her with kitten gloves. If she was a black woman, she would have been called all sort of bitches and hoes and wigs weave this and bed wench that and yo man this and that. They would have been trying to dox her. They would have been trying to call her job, okay? But no, she's white. And you know what the fuck they're doing? They're sitting here on her channel talking about, oh yeah, Pearl, you're 100% right about black people. What you said was 100% correct, and you shouldn't even have to apologize. That is what black males are saying on her channel. So the black manosphere is still supporting Pearly things. So if these motherfuckers come into divested spaces and run their mouth, they finna get blocked with the fucking quickness, all right? Because there's nothing that Pearly said that us divestors haven't already said already. Black males love to worship white people who they perceive as tearing down black women, all right? When Destiny said that divestment is cringe, but he understands where we're coming from, you dusty nakers were jumping up and down happy, going, ha, 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 a white man called y'all cringe. He said divestment is cringe, and y'all, this is a major L. And y'all were so happy that you had some white validation. So while these dusty mammies and these nakers are dancing around celebrating like they won against divestors when we still are sleeping with our white husbands every night, okay? A video resurfaces of Destiny referring to black people as the hard N-R word and saying that black folks commit the most crimes, they do the most drugs, and they have the lowest IQs. And instead of addressing this, y'all dusty asses still continue to go on his podcast and send them super chats. So to me, it's quite obvious that a lot of you dusty nakers and you mammies are fucking desperate for white validation to the point where you're supporting people who hate your fucking guts and want nothing to do with you. A lot of black males are fully aware that Destiny uses the hard N-R word, okay? And yet they still send this man super chats and consider him an ally, all right? So they need to shut several fucks up and focus on themselves, because it's clearly them that are taking fucking L's. For you black women who were on Pearl's podcast acting out, y'all definitely are taking major L's, okay? Because it's quite obvious to me that a lot of you are also still obsessed with white women validation. You think that being on this white woman show is going to make you look desirable? Because it doesn't. Look at the titles. She is always trying to make black women look argumentative, ready to fight, triggered, mad. You are these type of women that the men that watch my show don't want, okay? That is the MO here when she invites you to her podcast. So you're not doing yourself any favors being here. You really are not. Look at the titles, all right? It's quite clear that she loves to demonize black women, and she's very good at provoking black women to respond. And then when they respond, she records them and go, okay, now you got to get the fuck out, all right? And now your reputation is damaged, and now everybody's laughing at you. And these videos are getting hundreds and thousands of views every day, all right? She's literally making money off of her minstrel show of black women. So be aware of this. Be aware that these type of white women, they are not your fucking allies. So moral of the story is that this is a major win for divestors, because a lot of these black male worshiping mammies and these jealous nigcels proceeded to sit on the white man's podcast and the white woman's podcast and think that they were going to demonize divestors and get some allies to attack us. But what happened is that they opened Pandora's box, and now you got larger content creators watching our content and trying to bite and copy our style. All right. Meanwhile, y'all are the ones being exposed for being white worshipers and seeking white validation to the point where y'all are supporting people that don't even motherfucking like you or rock with you like that anyways. So this is a major victory for divestors. If y'all like this video, smash that like button and subscribe for more content below.